Yes, we have seen what is the virtualization and how virtualization will happen, and then now we'll see today we'll see the cloud computing. So I hope you can understand whatever we discussed yesterday. Type 1 virtualization and then type 2 virtualization, and so what are the benefits we are going to get using by implementing the virtualization software. And so hypervisor is basically it's a technology, and then we use the tools like vSphere and vCenter and then ESXi and then Citrix and then Fusion software and then Oracle VMbox. There are so many software vendors are there in the market. So you can use any VMware box, VM software, and then you can use it and then create a number of virtual machines. And then even though you have a 5 GB RAM, and then you can create it something 6 GB or 7 GB. You can use you can create a 1 GB VM machines in a seven 1 GB VM machines. You can create it. So that's the power of virtualization. So it's a giving as we discussed yesterday, it's basically separating your OS from the hardware. So today we will see cloud computing is, so basically it is separating your application, not only operating system. It is separating our application from the hardware from the OS. So hardware as well as the OS. That what we are going to tell is, so if you want to run any application, so please don't depend on the hardware as well as a OS. So something OS is crashed, so if you are not able to access the your application, then that means it's you are not using any cloud computing. So in cloud computing, we have seen yesterday cluster computing, and then cluster computing basically will use mainly high availability and then load balancing, high availability and then load balancing and high throughput and then failover, and then parallel computing or distributed computing. So distributed computing is one of the best examples. Git. Git is a distributed computing, and then grid computing we already seen it. Grid computing is basically it's a supercomputer, and then cloud computing. So we'll see it. Cloud computing is basically, so you can say it's a combination of all these, yeah, all these computing. So cloud computing is, cloud computing is separating your application from the hardware as well as the OS. So cloud computing is, okay. Yeah. So cloud infrastructure basically, so what we call it as a cloud infrastructure. So host is a basically it's a single machine, and then cluster is basically it's yesterday as we discussed, a cluster is, it's a combination of one or more servers, or one or more machines. It's a cluster is basically it's a more than n number of systems. Okay, so basically it's basically sharing the hardware capacity within the cluster. And then pod is basically one or more clusters is known as a pod, and then availability zone is, it's a basically one or more pods is our availability zone, and then data center is one or more zones are there, basically it's a data center. So it's here it is a simple computer. Here the hardware capacity, and then pod is one or more clusters, and availability zone is one or more pods, and then data center is one or more data center, one or more availability zone. Okay, so and then one or more data center is basically it's a cloud, either Amazon cloud or something, Microsoft Azure. So these are the basically clouds are available. It's a cloud. Cloud is basically one or more data center. Okay, so one or more data center we can call it as a cloud, and then so single computer, let us say single computer is a single computer, and then cluster is more than one computer, and then pods is one or more clusters, and then availability zone or one or more pods, and then data center is one or more availability zones, and cloud is one or more data center. So this is basically it's known as a cloud. Okay, so we will see what is the cloud computing and cloud computing history, and then cloud components, and then what is the central server, what is the service models, and what is the deployment of cloud service, and then why cloud service is so popular. Okay, so what is a cloud computing? So as we discussed yesterday, distributed computing or internet or delivery of computing service over the internet, something Yahoo, Gmail or Microsoft exchanges. So best example for the cloud computing. So if you remember that, if I remember, so something 10 years back or something 12 years back, so we used to like something, if you want to use Outlook, so we have to install Outlook in my machine, and then something, if something is happened to my Outlook, what will happen if it is crashed? So again I need to install, so something I have to ask the IT support guy, please install the Outlook. So if it doesn't install in my machine, so I cannot able to log into the Outlook. So uh, it's basically it's a very uh, tedious process. Something again he has to install it, and then uh, again I have to log into the Outlook, and then again then only I can see the emails. Right now, so uh, but right now, so because of the cloud computing, what is happening? So this Outlook you can, so this is there in the somewhere in server, and then you can access from anywhere else in the world. Something, if you have an internet connection, you can access from your mobile, and then you can access from the your desktop or laptop, and then you can access from the cyber cafe or net cafe or whatever outside, any from any computer you can access it. But it was not the case in 10 years back, and then we use it to, so it has to be, Outlook has to be installed on that particular machine. So if you see in our laptop or desktop, so we need not to install Outlook in our machine. So we just go to the Office 365, and then we just log in to view the credentials like username and then password, and then your Outlook will be open. Your Outlook will be open from desktop, laptop, or mobile, or whatever, or wherever you want to, you can open it. So that is the power of the cloud computing. That means that is, so something application is separating from the hardware, and then as well as the OS. That means your application need not to be installed on any other operating system. Your application need not to have any specific hardware or something. There is no hardware requirement for your application. Okay, so that is the power of the cloud computing, and then so we'll see. So we have a several service models are there in the cloud computing, and then so we'll see the service model. So basically, uh, three service models are there, and then of course it's more than five or six more service models are there. Service models in cloud computing. So basically, one is SaaS. We can call it as a SaaS. It is known as a software as a service. And the next is PaaS, platform as a service, and then yes, infrastructure as a service, and then so NAS, network as a service, so PaaS anything as a service. Okay, so we will discuss only SaaS, PaaS, and then yes, NAS, and then AS. This is basically it's still in implementation mode, and then so some people are still Cisco is providing something network as a service. So here, so the types of the cloud, we have a public cloud, private cloud. You can call it as a private cloud, and then public cloud, and then hybrid cloud. Okay, so these are the types of the cloud. So we'll see service models first, and then so we'll go for types. Service models is basically software as a service. Software as a service is basically, so that means you are purely your concentration on the software. So we don't bother about so what is the hardware they are using it, what is the operating system they are using it. We don't bother about it. Something like the best example is Outlook is the best example is, so we just use the Outlook. So we don't bother about Outlook is working on which operating system, Outlook underlying hardware, what is the Outlook underlying hardware, on which hardware it is working on it. So we don't care it, we don't care about it. So that is why SaaS is basically so platform software as a service. In software as a service, we concentrate only on the application. So software as a service, we concentrate only on the application. That means we underlying what is the underlying operating system and what is the underlying hardware. So we don't care about it. So here it is something hardware and then application, and then here it is our operating system whatever we are using it, and it is hardware. Okay. So yesterday we discussed it is. So it is basically, so it is separating these things is basically it's virtualization, and then so separating application as well. We are calling it as a cloud computing. Okay, so here, so software as a service, let us see what is a software as a service. Software as a service, so only our concentration, our focus is only on the application, so we don't bother about our underlying operating system as well as a hardware. That means something, let us say something, your best example is Outlook, as we I discussed just now. And then Outlook, something, if you want to Outlook, if you want to use Outlook in the 12 years back, what you have to do is you have to take the hardware and then you have to install the operating system, and then so on top of it you have to install the Outlook. So something is happened to the hardware crashed, so you cannot access the Outlook. Something operating system is crashed, you cannot access the Outlook. Something Outlook itself, it is crashed, so you cannot access it. So again, so you have to install the Outlook again, and then you have, then only can access it. But right now what is happening, right now we need not to, so you need not to do all these setups, hardware as well as a OS, because service vendor Amazon, either Amazon or Microsoft Azure, or Rackspace, and then there are so many vendors are there in the market, OpenStack or the CloudStack. So these vendors will provide the hardware as well as the operating system, and provide the operating system, and then they will provide the application credentials only. Application credentials means username and then password. So using the username and password, you can access that, application from anywhere else in the world. So here it is, that means what you need is, from our side is, software as a service. In software as a service we need, so network, that means internet, and then login credentials from the login credentials we from the vendor, or you can also create it login credentials only. Only we need a login credentials as well as a internet, something internet. If you are able to connect to the internet, that means if you have a mobile and if you are able to connect to the internet, and then you have a login username and password, and then so you can able to access so your Outlook from anywhere else in the world. Okay, so that is the best example. Outlook is the best example. And then what is the disadvantage of the software as a service? So what you can do is, you can navigate the software, whatever you are getting it, you can navigate it, and then you can view the software, and then we can use the software. So disadvantage is, we cannot customize the software, we cannot update the software. Okay, that means we cannot customize it. Something, Outlook, they are providing the Outlook, and then so we give the login username and password, and then we enter it. But we cannot, this is only whatever the features are there, we can use the features, we cannot update it, right? So we cannot, we cannot add extra features to the Outlook, or we cannot, customize something in the Outlook. Cannot do it, we don't have access for that one. Okay, so that is the disadvantage of the software as a service. Software as a service is, so basically we concentrate only on the application level, so we don't bother about what is underlying uh, hardware as well as a OS. So then we have a other option is called platform as a service. So platform as a service, what will happen? So even the platform as a service, they will provide the software as well as a operating system. So what you have to do is, you have to just use it. So why? Because why we need it? So because first, software as a service, we don't have a option to update the software or customize the software. So but end of the day, we are the developers, and then we want to update something, or we want to install something, or we want to write some programs, and then so we want to release our own product. So That is that is the main goal of our development. Something because we do a lot of application development. Something if you don't want to do the application development, we go for a software service. Something if you want to do the application as a development, that means you want to do some application development. Then you will go for a platform as a service. That means uh, you will take Oracle from the Amazon vendor, and then so you will write something you will write something queries, and then you will do some write some procedures or whatever you want to, you will write it, and then you can release something new product, or you can customize it, and then you can update it whatever you want to do it. So that means, so you take anything like not only database, you can take something web application servers, or Java server, or whatever the servers are there. You can take it as a service, and then you can use it, and on top of it you will customize the software, and then you will update the software, and then so you can release your own product. That means here what we are doing is, so we are taking software as software and operating system. Software like two software, like we'll take something like, let us say the Java, we'll take the Java and then Oracle from the AWS. Okay, so we'll take we take we'll take sorry we'll take the Java and as well as Oracle, and then so we'll write some programming, we'll do some application development in our systems. We'll do for application development, and something release the product, new product, or new project or whatever. Okay, that means again what we have to do is, so we'll get the softwares from the we'll get the softwares or platforms from the service provider, and what we need is, here we need a hard infrastructure, we need a infrastructure here. Okay, so here we needs to maintain the infrastructure, end user maintain to in the infrastructure. That means again he has to buy the hardware. Once he buy the hardware, then so what will happen, so he will get the sometimes, of course, sometimes he'll get the OS, and then sometimes he'll get the Java as well as some Java and then Oracle, and then you will do some application development, and he'll something create a new product or new project or whatever it is. That means here, so what you need is, uh, uh, here you need something hardware as well as the operating system, you need it, but software you will get it from the Amazon service provider, something who is a service. So let me tell you about the service. So cloud providers in the market is, so first it will start from the OpenStack, okay, and then so Cloud Stack, and then AWS, AWS, and then so what else, it's Microsoft Azure, and then Rackspace. These are the some of the cloud providers are there in the market. OpenStack is basically open source. You can use it, and something if you have enough skills, then you can create your own cloud. And then CloudStack also derived from the OpenStack, and then of course Amazon is again derived from the CloudStack. Okay, that means if you know the CloudStack very well, then you can easily understand the what is Amazon, and then Microsoft has its own cloud known as a Microsoft Azure, and then there is a other cloud is there, that is a Rackspace, and then so each and every organization, like client has their own clouds. Something if you are working for something, any other client. So then something banking clients, and then they have their own cloud. Okay. So end user needs to maintain the infrastructure, and then you will get the platform as a service. Using the platform as a service, you will get something software from the vendor, Amazon Web Services, and then you will develop your software, and then you will release the product. So, but again, what we are doing is, so again, I have to maintain the infrastructure here. That means again, I have to buy the hardware, as well as sometimes if I need something operating system also, I need to purchase it. So something, can you get the infrastructure from the vendor? Yes, we can get the infrastructure from the vendor as well. So using the EAS option, so infrastructure as a service, so we can get entire thing from the something complete infrastructure from the vendor. So that means you need not to do any other stuff. So what you have to do is you just need an internet. That's it. So if you just have an internet, and then if you are able to, your desktop is connected to the internet, so you can log into the n number of machines, n number of servers, and then so you just use the server, and then close the machine, or whatever machine you can do it. Something in is power failure, or something is machine is crashed, your machine is crashed, so your data still there in the your Amazon vendor only. So that means so cloud only. So that means you don't bother about your whether it is data is secure, or whether your data is there or not. So that means Amazon itself will provide those security mechanism, as well as the data backup and everything. So infrastructure as a service, so complete infrastructure they will provide you. So we don't bother about it. But how you will access these infrastructure as a service, and then platform as a service, and then software as a service. So we have a modes like how we can access it. There are something clients are there. We'll see. Clients, basically we have a thin client, and then thick client, and then mobile. Okay, so client means thin client, and then thick client, and then so mobile, something thin client. So thin client, let us say thick client first. Thick client means something, if you want to access, if you want to use any software on your machine, so what will happen, so you have to install that software in your desktop or laptop, or in your wherever you want it. And then so you have to double click the icon in your desktop, and then you will open the software, and then you will use the software. So that is basically the thick client. Thick client means what? So that software, whatever the software you are going to use it, so you have to install it in your machine. So you have to install it in your machine, and then so once you install it, and then you click the icon, whatever the icon it is what is the shortcut it is going to create it on your desktop. You have to click the icon, and then it icon will open the software, and then so you will use the software. Basically that is known as a thick client. So so in our case we just use a git client. Git client is a thick client. Git bash is a thick client. That means so we install the git bash in our machine, and then so we are using it. Okay. So and then second one is next one is a thin client. So thin client is basically are you able to hear now? Are you able to hear now? Oh, okay. Now are you able to hear now? No. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, is it okay now?
Hello?
Yeah, is it okay now, Swampy?
Hello?
Hello? Hello, Swampy, is it okay now? Are you able to hear? Are you able to hear? Hello, are you able to hear? Hello? Hello? Yeah? Swampy, are you able to hear now? Are you able to hear now? Yeah? Is it okay now, Swampy? Is it okay now? Yeah? Hello? 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 Are you able to hear? Hello? Are you able to hear?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Yeah. So, hello? Hello? Hello?